This is Max from Say Anything, and you're watching Banter Zine.
For people that may not know, how did the band actually form in the beginning?
The band formed after I sort of had spent some time playing by myself acoustically, and I met Kobe at summer camp when I was 14 years old, Jewish summer camp, and we formed the band, and we've been playing for about, I guess, 10 or 11 years, I think, at this point. Yeah, more. 12? God, I don't know.
How do you feel the band's progressed over those 12 years?
I mean, we sort of started out as a confluence of our influences, and we were generally just kind of like aped everyone that we liked. And I think around the time that I turned 19 or 20, I kind of felt the need to differentiate ourselves from the pack, and we started playing music that I would consider, at least at this time, as sort of off the beaten path. So I think maybe it was the experience of going to college and finding myself that caused that to happen.
Has the sort of the political sort of lyrical content of your music always been important, or has it been
It's always been important, but I would say that, you know, at that point, it you know, I started challenging myself to compete with. I was reading a lot of poetry, and I was sort of grabbing a lot of influences from film, and I just wanted to make people laugh. So at that point, I think we started to become a little more sardonic and sarcastic and dark, as opposed to just, I like a girl, she doesn't like me. You know what I mean? That was you know, so.
Cool. Just going back a little bit then. Craziest show you've ever played?
The craziest show we've ever played. It's hard to say. I mean, New Jersey is a big audience for us, so we've played a few shows there where I feel like I'm literally going to die by the time we get off stage. But actually, a couple nights ago in London was actually one of the crazier shows we've ever played. I think because I injured myself, and yet it was so fun. I didn't feel it. I jumped off the drums and sort of bounced off the monitor into the little crack between the crowd and the audience, and sort of hurt myself here.
Oh,
Yeah.
that looks painful.
Yeah.
Ouch. So how's the reception to the new album going?
Great. You know, I think by continuing to play with this band, we've made a commitment to the sort of weirdos, the outcasts that have decided to accept us, and they, in particular, have been drawn to this record and championed it, and that's kind of what we had in mind. You know, we didn't really want to. I feel very disconnected from what's cool right now, and I feel very disconnected from what's popular right now. You know what I mean? And those are two different worlds. You've got, you know, Katy Perry and Kesha, and then you've got, you know, the Pitchfork.com sort of world, and I feel equally disconnected from both of those worlds. So
then it's quite ironically interesting that you guys are becoming cool in the sort of alternative scene on the same way.
Well,
it's
yes,
a different type of cool, obviously.
It's a sort of cool that it's like, I feel like people admit to liking our band. You know what I mean? From either side, you know, it's like, yeah, Say Anything, they're good, but you know what I mean? And I'm proud of that. You know what I mean? It's sort of a band that it feels awkward to be a fan of, because there's no way to peg us.
I mean, the new album is quite eclectic as well. There's even a difference between all the songs. It go from the happier sort of melody tracks to then the ones obviously quite a lot of political sort of influence.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't really know what to do with us.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, we had it on in the studio, and it was just from track to track. You're almost like, yeah, weird, but in a good way.
Yes, that's what we're going for.
I mean,
yeah.
From the political side of it, I mean, is there a certain message on the album you sort of feel, or is it song by song?
No, yeah, the whole record altogether has a sort of overarching concept, which is to be a rebel, to sort of differentiate yourself from the pack, and to sort of undo the brainwashing that has been placed upon everyone in modern society, and especially in America. As you may imagine, I mean, and a lot of bands have written about this. It's just it's an empirical society, and it's everything about it, everything about, you know, everything in the popular worldview is built and engineered to kind of get you thinking a certain way. And we wanted to write a record that stood against that. So yeah.
Do you see a difference in Europe than the States in that sort of side of things? And if so, do you see that with the fans as well?
I see it out here as well. I mean, I've got to imagine that, you know, English society and being so, you know, stereotypically proper, you know what I mean, has just as many brainwashing tactics as American society. It's just that American society happens to be so blatant about it. And I think maybe in English society it's a little more subtle. In American society, you know, it's Coca-Cola and it's very prevalent. But in English society, it's more about how you act.
I think it's quite interesting that news channels in the States, you can see actually outright just make things up.
I'm sorry?
The sort of news channels in the States on TV, literally you see things come up that's literally making them up.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, here, you know, I have to say, you know, I mean, if it weren't for certain aspects, the fact that I grew up in America and the fact that I love where I live, you know, I mean, there are definitely other countries where I feel like I relate to the general worldview a little more. But that doesn't make anyone better. I think I can't think of one country where people are actually living life in a mutually beneficial way. You know what I mean? Maybe because there's never been an anarchist state. You know what I mean?
People by definition are greedy, aren't they, I suppose?
Exactly. No matter where you are. It's just that America's more, we're proud of it.
Let's go another way a little bit. What's the best food on tour?
Best what?
Best food.
Best food on tour. In Portland and Seattle, there tend to be a lot of really awesome places. And in New York, obviously that's like a dense city where there's a lot of amazing restaurants. Actually, where I grew up in LA, there's a lot of great food as well. So,
what's next for Say Anything?
We're doing an Australian tour in July, and then we're working on stuff for the fall in the U.S. And next year should be interesting as well. I can't really talk about it too much, but cool stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Anything else you'd like to throw in there?
Thank you. Yeah.